watching. Although my YouTube channel has been dead for a while, but anyway, it's Eyobe1 checking in. I know it's been a minute. I usually only do these videos when I'm like reminiscing about the old days and just wanted to kind of look back and think about all the things that have happened. And when I look at the videos and the pictures and stuff, wow, I can't believe, you know, half the stuff that I've been able to do. I feel lucky and blessed. And the best thing is that hopefully there's still more to come, more cool things. To give you guys a quick update, I think things are going well with work. I'm actually really enjoying what I'm doing right now. I love working as part of a team supporting exchange students. So, kind of coming full circle, my exchange influenced me on what I'm interested in supporting and working on. And, every day I get a chance to chat or see the stories or ambitions of other students to go study abroad, follow their dreams, take a leap of faith. It's just really, really, I don't know, exciting to me. I deeply, deeply enjoy it. On another small note, I had a baby, so there's a little Yobi Jr. now, and he's about 5 months old now, and he's doing super well. He's actually not here right now. He's with his mom in Japan, and they actually went back to Japan last month. So I've been on my own just over a month. Sorry. But I will be leaving in a couple of weeks to go back to Japan again. I don't know how many times this makes, but as usual, I start my pre-Japan ritual. And my pre-Japan ritual, I don't know if you can see the screen, but I don't know. I usually dive into some classic movies or TV shows that are set in Japan. Whether it be a slice of life show or something, but that just really embodies the environment of being in Japan. And for me, those things just make me flash back to all the different cool memories. I really love Midnight Diner. I think Midnight Diner is maybe one of my favorite Japanese shows of all time. I think I've been through the show a couple of times now, and it just makes me think of all the different people that I was able to meet, all the different places I was able to go, and just the environment. The diner itself makes me flash back to one of my all-time favorite places in Sapporo. Just going there after work. It's called it's a tachinomi, which is like a standing drinking bar, food bar kind of thing. And oh, there's people. Wow, I'm surprised. Hi, people. It's nice to see you guys. I don't know if you have any questions, but I'm happy to answer anything. But the tachinomi that I used to go to in Sapporo called Maldini, I just have so many good memories. It was always on my way home. And I just remember there, have some wine, have some beer, have some food that the master would cook. It was a super, super tiny space. It was definitely smaller than my bedroom. And we used to cram, yeah, it was always full. There used to always be like 8 people crammed around um, a bar, and you just stand in front of the bar and enjoy your drink, and the master would cook just the most amazing food. I think he had a specialty for Italian. I think it was Italian themed. And yeah, just going there, he would just cook up random dishes, whatever was special that day, or his special lasagna, or whatever dish that he would make. And yeah, the TV show Midnight Diner makes me reminisce and kind of think about that, because it was like that. It was actually like the show, where just random people from all different walks of life, you don't need to know anybody. You just go in by yourself, order something, order a drink, and you just randomly start having a conversation with the person next to you. And you know, every time I would go in, somebody would ask me who I am, what was I doing in Sapporo, why did I speak Japanese, all of these random questions that was so cool. And yeah, it was a really good time. I think that for me was, I had graduated and moved to Gifu, and I spent about 8 months in Gifu as an ALT teacher. And Gifu was really cool, but for me, there was not a lot really. Really, Gifu was more about experiencing the life of a teacher in Japan. But that wasn't really my motivation or goal for going back to Japan after graduation. And then I was just lucky enough for a friend to send me a link to a cool position that brought me to Sapporo. And then I think for me, that was my real experience with, I'd say that was my first real job after graduation. And oh, what a job! What a random, beautiful job. What just the most random opportunities, getting to chill um, in Sapporo, travel for work, connect with so many wonderful people. I'll never forget the curling coach and the curling team. Um, and yeah, for me, my slice of the my best thing was just to go by that tachinomi and just have a drink after work and talk to random people. And yeah, I don't know why, it was just such a beautiful period. And so yeah, I think watching these shows like Midnight Diner or some, just slice of life Japan life shows in advance of getting back to Japan. I think I partly do it to kind of brush up on my Japanese because I always want to make sure to kind of get my Japanese back up a little bit. It's just like a muscle. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to exercise my Japanese again. So whenever I watch these shows, I try to either shadow or make notes of interesting sayings or phrases and just try to get back on par. Um, it's especially challenging because a lot of my regular friends in Japan, they can speak English, and so I'm kind of the type of person who, unless I have to speak Japanese, I'm not really going to use Japanese. And so what that means is, if my friend can speak English, I'm probably just going to speak to them in English as opposed to Japanese. It might go back and forth. They might drop Japanese and I might listen and just return in English. But being that we're going to be visiting my wife's parents and friends and family on her side, and they don't speak English, it's always good to try to get my Japanese back up because it's going to be like a fully immersed Japanese environment. So yeah, but anyway, they've been back in Japan for the past month. My son looks like he's having such a wonderful time. I feel lucky. He's blessed. He's getting to meet all of my wife's friends and their kids. And it looks like he's enjoying himself. He's 5 months. He's getting bigger and bigger. He's getting, to that age where they're super cute and they just do random cute things. So uh, it's interesting being a father now with my mentality is shifting. Leading up to the birth, it was shifting, but ever since he was born, it's shifted. And I don't know how to put it into words, but it's kind of like feeling of passing the torch. You're really living not for yourself or just for yourself anymore, but really for them. And so, kind of perspective and priorities shift. Um, but one thing that I want them or him to know, especially if he ever watches these random videos in the future, is just what was our mentality? What was it like, you know, growing up, raising him? Yeah. And so, whenever I do make these videos or post pictures on Instagram or anything, I always just think of it as like a personal diary, something that I can go back to in X amount of years. and kind of reminisce and think and reflect on where I've been, how much I've grown, and I hope he would eventually get a chance to see it too and kind of get to better know me in my younger days. Because I think that's something that I really wish that I was able to experience with my parents is, um, especially since becoming a parent, I've been just thinking about random things like what was it like for my parents in year one of raising us, of my older sister and I, and what was going on for them. We don't have any real records of anything in terms of photos or anything really, videos. You know, I just recently got to go back home to Edmonton and just kind of ransack my old room and look through old boxes and look at old pictures. And it was really cool to see a lot of old pictures, but with my parents not being here anymore, the backstories behind a lot of those pictures is lost. And, a lot of who my parents really were, you know, is gone too. Unfortunately, didn't get a chance to receive that or ha- have them pass that on. So I think for me, this YouTube series, as well as my Instagram, is something that I hope my son can look back on and read and look through. And if he wants to get to know me better, um, whether I'm there or not, he'll definitely be able to kind of look back at that and just see what a weirdo I am. But yeah, anyways, you know, going back to Japan in a couple of weeks, things that I'm looking forward to. Going back to Okinawa, I think we had our wedding in Okinawa and it was wonderful. It was so much fun. Um, and I just wish we had more time to spend in Okinawa. So this will be our first full-on family trip with my wife and my son to go visit Okinawa for a few days. We'll be spending time in Chiba as usual with her parents and hopefully getting to visit some old friends and introduce our son to them. And still kind of just trying to think about what is life in Japan like with a kid. I have no background or anything to go off of on what to expect. What is it like, riding with a kid on the train? What is it like being a mixed family? Our son is mixed, and so I'm curious to see what that experience will eventually be like for him. Those are the things that I'm kind of starting to contemplate and think about. Especially depending on where we ultimately decide to raise him, whether it's Canada or Japan or wherever. Trying to think of things to do. A lot of the things that I love to do, it's not really a place where you can bring a kid. So you can't bring your kid to shisha. You can't really bring your kid to an izakaya. I don't think I've ever seen a kid at an izakaya. So maybe more family restaurants, more regular restaurants. So those things and places that I really like to go. I'm not gonna bring my son there. I'm not that kind of weird parent that's gonna bring their kid to like an izakaya at 10 or 11 p.m. But I will get a chance to go visit some of my favorite spots. I'm really looking forward to going to some of my favorite shisha cafes and catching up with the masters there. I'm looking forward to catching up with some old friends. Hopefully I can introduce them to my kid, but if not, I'll at least get a chance to maybe grab lunch with them and catch up and chat. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Just a short update. Getting ready for Japan. If you guys want, you can follow me on Instagram. I post much, much more regularly on Instagram. It's just my name, Eyobe. So you can search me up on Instagram. Feel free to add me. Always happy to answer questions. I love getting questions from you guys. I love hearing from you guys, hearing your stories about your experiences as well. So feel free to post a comment or follow me on Instagram. And yeah, stay tuned. Thank you.